Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. In recent days, nothing has attracted more attention than Cook's visit to China and his attendance at the opening ceremony of Apple's Shanghai Jing'an store. Since last year, Cook has visited the mainland 3 times in a short period of time. According to statistics, Cook is the executive who has visited China the most. Of course, Cook's visit to China is not simple. Each visit has its purpose. This time it is most likely related to Apple's weak sales in mainland China and strengthening ties with the supply chain. But Cook did not expect that after visiting China, the United States would take action against Apple. During Cook's visit to China this time, he had a lot of schedule. First, he walked on the bund with the big star Shanghai, had breakfast, took photos, and posted on Weibo. Then he attended the opening ceremony of the Apple flagship store in Jing'an, Shanghai. Cook attended the scene and personally opened the store. Opened the door. Then, they also met with BYD chairman Wang Chuanfu, Lens Technology chairman Zhu Chuanfei, Changing Precision general manager Chen Xiaoshuo, etc., and jointly contacted and communicated with mainland supply chain companies, which further showed that Apple attaches great importance to the mainland supply chain. Finally, Cook met with Wang Wentao, China's Minister of Commerce, and stated that Apple would continue to be committed to long-term development in China. During Cook's visit to China, what caused the most discussion was the huge crowds at the opening of the Jing'an store, with about 1,000 people queuing up. It is said that many fruit fans started queuing up the night before, and some even queued for 2 days and nights just to see the store. To Cook, the enthusiasm of these people towards Apple naturally makes many people feel unhappy. You must know that the Chinese company Huawei is still sanctioned by the United States. As a result, people lining up in front of the Apple store were scolded by their aunts, who even shouted that China has Huawei. However, the Apple retail store, the second largest in the world and the largest in Asia, is still popular and is said to be closed after 1 hour of operation. In fact, on the surface, the opening of the Apple Shanghai Jing'an store is very popular. In fact, there are less than 1,500 people including Apple fans. Compared with such a high-standard flagship store, it is not many. It reflects that the appeal of Apple and Cook has been lost. Back to the old days. If the same Huawei flagship store were to open and Ren Zhengfei came to the platform, tens of thousands of people would crowd the threshold. What's even more interesting is that Hua Chunying posted a picture comparing China's welcome to the American company Apple, while the United States is targeting Chinese companies. The opening of Apple's Shanghai Jing'an store has become a demonstration of China's openness to the global business community. Globalization. The focus of Cook's visit to China is, on the one hand, Apple's recent weak sales in the mainland market. Apple's financial report shows that revenue in Greater China fell nearly 13% year-on-year in the first fiscal quarter, and sales in the mainland market fell 24% in the first 6 weeks of this year. On the other hand, it shows that it continues to attach importance to the mainland's industrial chain. In the past 2 years, Apple has been promoting the relocation of its industrial chain overseas, and OEM Foxconn has also actively invested in and built factories in India to continuously increase the local iPhone assembly capacity in India. But this time Cook publicly stated that Apple will continue to strengthen cooperation with the mainland supply chain. "I am afraid Foxconn is a little disappointed." In an interview with the media, Cook also emphasized the importance of the mainland supply chain to Apple. He believes that Apple and the mainland supply chain have a very harmonious and win-win relationship. For Apple's supply chain, there is no place more important than the mainland. However, just as Cook was busy visiting China, the United States took action again behind the scenes. According to related news, the U.S. Department of Justice and 16 state attorneys general filed an antitrust lawsuit against Apple, claiming that Apple's anti-competitive behavior exceeded the scope of normal business. They accuse Apple of using hardware and software control to monopolize the mobile phone market, harming the interests of consumers, developers, and others. You know, this is not a trivial matter. The U.S. Department of Justice jointly launched a lawsuit with the attorneys general of 16 states. Only 3 giants have enjoyed this treatment before, namely Microsoft, Standard Oil, and AT&T. Naturally, the outcome of the lawsuit was not good. It is understood that Standard Oil was later split into 34 companies, and AT&T was split into 7 companies. Although Microsoft was not split up, it also paid a lot of price, and later became giants such as Google, Meta, and Yahoo. Develop. This time, officials from the U.S. Department of Justice said they would not rule out using measures to break up the company to resolve Apple's antitrust lawsuit. It seems that Apple is in big trouble this time. Things have not gone well for Apple this year. Not only has its mobile phone sales in mainland China declined, but it has also been fined €1.84 billion by the European Union. It has also cancelled its 10-year-old electric car project with an investment of $10 billion. This time the antitrust incident is even more problematic. It's hard to say whether Apple will be broken up. China can only watch the show. From this point of view, the development environment in mainland China is better. It is no wonder that Cook visits China so frequently.